How is The Bad Batch performing on Disney Plus through the first 7 episodes of its inaugural season? Let's see if we can find out. Renegade Online. I want to thank everybody for being here. I've had a lot of great subscriber growth in the past 30 days. The channel size has almost doubled. We're getting closer to 700 subs at this point, and I wanted to take an opportunity to thank everybody for being here, and I hope you continue to stick around, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I hope you will today. Now, this video is going to get a little bit more technical than I normally would. Most of the stuff I tend to do here tends to be lighthearted, kind of my hot takes on certain shows, pop culture, certainly a lot of Star Wars stuff. Today, like I said, I want to make sure I impart as much information to you as I can on how I came to the conclusion that I did regarding The Bad Batch. Research outfits like Nielsen have long been a staple in delivering solid metrics of performance for traditional linear delivery of television shows, that is to say, programming delivered to audiences through broadcast and cable networks. DTC content, or direct-to-consumer from streaming services like Netflix, HBO Max, Disney+, not so simple to track, short of the content provider itself publicly reporting official numbers. Some sites like Samba TV occasionally offer some insight, but they only measure whether a given show has been watched for at least 5 seconds. Nielsen reports similarly, but only captures measurement with at least full 2 minutes of viewing, and generally they only release the top 10 shows viewed each week, and the data is often about a month behind. The reason all this is difficult to ascertain is that a great deal of direct-to-consumer content is consumed directly on so many different devices like TVs, computers, mobile phones, iPads, directly from the proprietary vendor like Netflix or Disney+. Fortunately, Star Wars offers somewhat of a unique situation due to the immense size and nature of its fan base. There are a plethora of websites, social media pages, and particularly YouTube channels that are concentrated in Star Wars content. While the website hits and social media engagement can be particularly dicey to gauge and use as a measurement of a TV show's performance, YouTube offers a unique and solid metric that we can all observe in real time: the video view counter. When trying to examine how popular a given show might be, we need to be cautious about the source of the data that we draw from. While there's a lot of Star Wars dedicated YouTube channels out there, I needed to find a few key ones that met very specific criteria to make this measurement work as best we could. Number 1, channel size. Generally speaking, if you want the best data possible, you need to have the largest sample size possible. So typically, the larger amount of data to draw from, the more accurate your results have a chance to be. So for this, we want to use as big a YouTube channel or channels as possible. Then there's the growth rate. If we use smaller channels or channels that have had tremendous subscriber percentage growth in the past 14 months since Clone Wars Season 7 came out, the view counts could be heavily skewed over that time as the channel grew due to this, and it would not provide reliable enough data to draw a confident conclusion. Then finally, this might be the most important factor of the bunch, and that is consistent episodic reviews of every TV show that we want to use in the metric. Having a large enough Star Wars-focused channel whose subscriber base has been relatively consistent compared to others is a great start, but we also need to be able to measure fan engagement consistently across every episode of 3 different shows over the span of 14 months. Now, while there are several channels on YouTube that met at least one of the 3 pieces of this criteria, there was only one that perfectly nailed all of them. Star Wars Theory. Star Wars Theory is the biggest Star Wars YouTube fan channel there is. And while Star Wars Theory has seemingly picked up around 500,000 to 600,000 subs in the last 14 months since Clone Wars began, that only represents about a 20 to 25% subscriber increase, and that increase has been relatively linear, so we can easily adjust for that growth as well in the numbers. What's most important about Star Wars Theory, however, is that the man is a YouTube machine. Apart from being one of the best YouTube content creators on Star Wars, or anything for that matter, and the most high-profile Star Wars fan, Theory produces and releases episodic breakdowns and reviews of every movie and TV show like a Swiss clock. I mean, you could really set your watch by his level of professionalism. It's absolutely astonishing. The combination of all three factors makes Star Wars Theory's channel an absolute diamond mine for a Star Wars fan data when gauging interest in a given Star Wars property. Now, going back to the chart, what you see listed are view counts for every Star Wars Theory video produced for every episode of Mando Season 2, The Bad Batch, and Clone Wars Season 7. Now, unlike many videos on YouTube that can live in infamy for a very long time, tutorials, parodies, anything that isn't tied to current events or news, review videos, particularly of a single episode of a TV show, tend to have nearly all their views heavily front-loaded. That is to say, if a video on a particular episode has 200,000 views, 90% of those views or more most likely occurred in the first few days following the video's release. By the time the next episode releases a week later, that previous video's view count has peaked. Any subsequent views are incidental and statistically insignificant after that point. So looking at the numbers here, we can see a definitive trend, both in Clone Wars Season 7 and especially Mando Season 2, where the fan engagement started out much softer than where it eventually wound up. Conversely, we can see where fan interest in The Bad Batch was excellent going into Episode 1, but then dropped massively from Episode 2 forward when compared to that first episode. Now, to be very clear, this does not tell us what the viewership numbers on Disney Plus actually are. They do indeed render a very good data set on comparative fan interest among the three shows and where the trends go. Surely, with numbers this divergent in Bad Batch episode breakdown videos, Disney is seeing this precipitous drop-off reflected in actual viewership as well, but to what extent, we can't be sure. But particularly when compared to Mando and Clone Wars, it's definitely something unique. Now, before you start thinking Clone Wars Season 7 was a flop based on this chart, allow me to offer a few critical points that we must account for. While the Disney Plus subscriber base currently sits around 100 million according to Disney, and was close to that number when Mando Season 2 was wrapping up, when the Clone Wars final season aired, Disney Plus had roughly half the subscribers, or less than it does now. So if we factor in that metric, the Clone Wars numbers theoretically would be much more on par with Bad Batch numbers currently. Furthermore, if we also factor in the 20 to 25% subscriber growth of Theory's channel since the Clone Wars, which again, as far as we can tell, was fairly linear, those numbers would further adjust upward. The bottom line is that the Bad Batch so far appears to be trending in the wrong direction for fan engagement. This is not to say The Bad Batch is a bad show. I've watched every episode to date, and I plan to continue all the way till the end. While it's not as captivating to me personally as Clone Wars or Rebels, it has been overall enjoyable. Now, as we near the end of the season, I will keep updating this chart. Knowing Dave Filoni, this show will have a tremendous climax. It's just taking a while to get there. I would suspect that as we near the season's close and more big secrets get revealed, the fan engagement on each episode will continue to climb from here. But for right now, Disney is probably not happy with their internal numbers, and we will likely never see them. So that's it, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Share this video out if you enjoyed it, and certainly hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. We'll try to do more videos like this as situations arise, but again, mostly what we like to do here is kind of keep it lighthearted. We just like to look at things for what they are, comment good or ill. And again, this whole business was nothing about the Clone Wars being good or bad. We just wanted to take a look at the numbers and see if we could derive what's really going on with actual Disney Plus viewership. That's it. Hope you guys have a great day. Until next time, take care.